Welcome back to Gardening in San Francisco. In today's episode, we'll be taking the grand May tour of the garden. So let's go get started. We've got this row here of just some different pots we've collected. This is a fruit tree we got from our neighbor. These are like some greens, some unidentified greens that we've been growing. We harvested them recently, so they're looking a little bare. This is some rosemary we found in the yard. Our dormant blueberry is sort of coming to life. And then we've got our aloe vera here. And then here's our blueberry pot, which regrettably we have not planted yet. We still need to grab the soil for that. That takes a specific type of soil for those. In this row, along the path here, we've got our cabbage starters, which are doing almost entirely awesome. This one is having a little trouble because this was one of the ones that had two of them in the starter, so they're kind of battling each other and neither one is doing particularly well. But the rest of these, as you can see, have just nice big broad leaves. And then we'll rotate to the other side of the path here. And here's our row that we did from seed. We've got our greens in the back. The green lettuce has been the fastest getting started, so that's much bigger. But as you can see, we've got some of the red stuff coming in here too, which will be nice. And then in this row, closer to the path, we have our row of carrots that we did from seeds. And those are looking pretty good too. Then as we keep going here, we will find our plot of squash. So these two on the right here are the straight neck, so they kind of grow a little straighter coincidentally on the way up. And then the other two here on the left are going to be the crook-neck yellow squash, and those are looking really good too. And they funnily have a little bit of a crook to their plant architecture as well. So. And then as we cross to the left here of the path again, we've got our eggplant. That one is really healthy, but it's been kind of a slower grower, so I think it'll do good. And then as we keep going to the right, we'll find our corpse of our cauliflower plant that got eaten by the rats. We've got the rats taken care of, but we'll see. We'll see if we're totally done there. These are some of the best ones in the whole thing. This is our celery plot right here. And this we've already been harvesting actually, as well as the lettuce that we looked at earlier. It's doing really good. And then behind the celery, finishing off this row along the path, we've got our spaghetti squash started. And that, as you can see, is really huge. And it has both arms. It has one going to the left and one going to the right. And each of those are going to have quite a few squash, it looks like. And then as we continue our little loop here, these are going to be our sunflowers that we started from seed in that last video. And these just grow really fast and really vertically, so those are a lot of fun to watch. This brings us back to our cucumbers that we planted from seed. We've got a large cluster right there, kind of a smaller cluster here, a couple plants. And then another large cluster here to the right. And then in that back corner, our raspberry bush. This one has pruned off a few layers since our last video, but it has also sprouted new limbs from the ground. So there's been some new life coming in from that and spreading out. And as you can see, it's also starting to blossom. And these will actually turn into raspberries, so that'll be good. Keeping our row going here, we have our peas that we did from seed. And these, we didn't get every single one that we planted, but we got a good chunk of them. So we did rows of 2. And as you can see, quite a few of them have pears, but some of them just have the one in the row. So, but those are looking really good. I'm really happy we did those from seed.
Baby pea.
Got our previous foliage, the mint and the roses. And then we've got our enormous row of tomatoes. So this is our yellow pear here. Here's Teddy for like a height comparison. It's a lot bigger than when it went in the ground. So that that's sweet. And that one is like a very vertical one. This is the big beef, and this one is kind of built like it has a vertical arm and then a huge left arm and a huge right arm, so it comes up and spreads out as well. Then we've got our cherry tomato plant. This one was doing awesome. It was standing up straight, and then I don't know if it was Teddy or the wind, kind of broke this arm here, which was holding it up vertically, so now this one is kind of inclined to tip over, so I've been kind of just leaning it back into that bush until we get some stakes for it.
We also have some roses coming in. So pretty.
And then lastly on the corner here, we've got our big rainbow tomatoes. So this was the one that started bigger. This one's doing awesome. And then this was the smaller of the two, and this one's doing great too. It's not as big, but it's got really great flowers. As we keep going here, we planted 3 of those Easy Pick Gold zucchini, as you may remember, and only one of them made it. This one died, but this one's actually doing pretty good. And I think that was a combination of just this huge exposed sunlight and foot traffic from the dog, and also we've been having some pretty high winds. But when we look at this one here, you can see a zucchini coming right in, and these are going to be a yellow zucchini, so that'll be cool. Bring it back to here. Here's our large plot of beets that we planted from starters. These are looking really good. They've come down a few times and then built back up, but they've generally done pretty good. And next to it, you'll see this little plant that we got from our neighbor. I'm not sure what this is yet, but I think it's some type of squash that's starting to grow there. And this plot right here, actually, as I was getting it started, I dug into it and I found that there was an enormous slab of concrete under the sand, which is this. So that ended up turning into another planting bed, and I tried to turn this into a bench, and it looks kind of cool, kind of rustic, but if you come over, don't sit on it. It might tip over, I'm not sure. Lastly, we've just got our Swiss chard in here that we did from seed, and that one is really big and healthy. Nice cluster there. And then we've got a smaller one kind of to the left of it. Yeah, you can see that there. That one's looking pretty good too. And then another small one to the right as well.